Hi, welcome back. In this lecture, we look into Python numbers. In Python, numbers are of three types: integers, floating point numbers, complex numbers. Let us see with some examples. Integers are like whole numbers. Whenever we assign a whole number without a decimal point, it creates an integer object. For example, n1 equal to 100, and if we see the type of n1 is an int. In Python, there is no limit to the size of an integer. We can assign very big values. For example, we can say n1 equal to like very big number, like such a big number, and there is no problem. And if you say we can see the type on this type of n1 is an integer. Still it's an integer object. And also actually when let's create a very big number like x equal to 2 to the power of 1000, and what is let us say what is x now. Such a huge number. Actually you can do some arithmetic also with this, like if I say x equal to x plus 1, it will add 1 to there's such a big number. If you see x now, see, so 1 is added. It was 76, here it's 77. So also we can do any other arithmetic, like x equal to x into 2. See what is x now? It's multiplied by 2. Such a we can do all kind of mathematical computations with such a huge numbers. Then let us move on to see the floating points. Numbers with a decimal point are called floating point numbers. We can create let us say f equal to 100.5. That is let us see the type of this. Type of f is a float. It's a floating point number. We can mix integers and floats in doing arithmetic computations. Let us see an example. Let us x is equal to 100, y equal to like 10.5. Let me execute this. We got two objects, x equal to 100 and y equal to, let me print out this. So we got two objects with values 100 and 10.5, and if we say z equal to x plus 5, that is fine. And what is the g now? Is 110.5. And let me see the type of z. Type of z must be a float. That is a float. Also, Python provides some mathematical functions. We can find there are some functions like min, max, and absolute, and all this. Let us see what is the min of 10, 20, 30. It's a list of numbers. If you find the min of these, you get a 10. Similarly, max of let us say same numbers, 20, 30. Just to get a feel, I am showing all these functions. So you got a 30 there. So similarly, suppose if you say absolute of minus 100, it will be positive 100. And also there's a lot of mathematical modules are available in Python. Let us see one example. I will use a simple there's a math library. I'll say import. For this to use these modules, we have to import them before using that. We have to say import math, import math, and let us say x equal to 100. I just want to show a couple of examples using this math library. So I got an object with a value 100. I can say by using math library, I can say math, we can find the square root of x, sqrt. That will give you the square root of x. The square root function is in the math module. That's why we are using a math dot square root. So we got 10. Similarly, there's a factorial. You know the factorial. Suppose if you want to find the factorial of 5, let us do that. A math dot factorial of, let us say, 5. What is the factorial of 5? 5 is 120. It's basically is 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So I got 20. So what is that? 1 star 2 star multiply with the 3 star 4 and star 5. If you do the multiply on this, you get 120. Then let us move on to the last one, the complex numbers. We can create a complex numbers in Python by using this function complex. Let us say c equal to complex. You have to give two numbers here. One is real and the second one is imaginary. You have to say 10 plus let us say 20 j. That is how you create a complex numbers. Then and if you execute this one, you get a c equal to complex number. Let us see what is the type of c, and also what is the value of c. Let us see. So it's a complex. It's a type is complex, and this is the value of that number. 10 plus. That's what we passed here. Also, we can find the real and imaginary part of this by using by calling this dot real, and also we can say c dot image. That will give you the two parts, the real part and the imaginary part. We hardly use actually in real world programming, we hardly use these complex numbers. I think we'll stop here on this, and finally let me show you something about Boolean objects. We have two keywords in Python. The keywords are true and false. These are the keywords for the Boolean keywords. These are case sensitive, means you cannot say this. It has to be exactly the capital T and RU, true. Let us create some Boolean objects. We can say x equal to true. Then it creates a Boolean object with the value true. Let us see what is x and what is the type of x. It says the value is true and the type is bool. Okay. Similarly, I said it is case sensitive. You cannot say x equal to true or true. Then you get a syntax error. Similarly, you can create y equal to false. That's how you can create y object. So y is now a false with a value false, and the type is a bool. False and bool. Okay. Also, you can create this Boolean objects by using some conditions. Suppose if I say let us say x1 equal to 10 greater than 2. That is 10 is greater than 2 is a true condition. So that will then it will create a Boolean object x1 with the value true. So let us see what is x1 and the type of x1. That you get a true and bool. Finally, let us create a false object. Let us say 1 is greater than 10. And if you say what is y1 and type of y1, you get a false and bool. It's a Boolean object. Y1 is a Boolean object with the value false. We use the Boolean conditions in loop statements and also in the conditionals. We'll stop here and we'll just recap what we learned in this class. Let us go back to the screen. So we learned in Python there are 3 types of numbers: integers, floats, and complex numbers. Integers are like whole numbers, and there is no limit to the size of these integers. We can assign any big values to these integers. Numbers with a decimal point or floating point numbers. Python also comes with some math functions like min, max, absolute, and there are many other functions too built into the language itself. Also, we can import modules like a math module for doing some heavy duty computations. Finally, we learned the 2 Boolean keywords, true and false. And note these are case sensitive words. Let us stop here. We'll see string objects in the next lecture. Okay, thanks.